first question is 1A. 4 skills that are most desired by employers in organization. First is critical thinking, intellectually disciplined process, and then conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and or evaluating information gathered. And the last is as a guide to belief and action. The second point is problem solving. It is a process of working through details of a problem to reach a solution. And then it is include mathematical and systematic operation and can be of an individual's critical thinking skills. Okay, so for the third point is judgment and decision making. It is an ability, capacity, or faculty considered an effective decision. And it can form objective opinions, especially in matters that affect action. Okay, so for the last point is active listening. The act of mindfully hearing and attempting to comprehend the meaning of words spoken by another in a conversation or speech. And then it involves making a sound that indicate effectiveness. Okay, for question 1B, it is explained about the surface level of diversity and deep level diversity. So for the first one is surface level diversity, observable, demographic or physiological differences in people, which consists of race, gender, age and physical disabilities. And for level diversity, it is the differences in the psychological characteristic of employees, which involves personality, values, belief, and also attitudes. Okay, for 1C, explain about the two importance of managing diversity to the organization. So for the first point is the diversity helps in increasing one creativity and problem. This can be further explained by having a variety of difference of people that comes from various backgrounds together is essential to finding and implementing creative solutions to business problems. And the last point is to encourage personal growth and development. It is by having an expertise or a person who has international background in working for the company. And also it can help employees to learn new things. Okay, for the last point is to encourage personal growth and development. This can be further explained by having an expertise or someone who has a professional background in working for the company. It also can help employees to learn new things and have to produce their own ideas, perspectiveness, and connect professionally with different people.
Adjacent theory of planned behavior. Okay. What is theory planned behavior? Theory planned behavior is the intention to perform the behavior. Such we can predict whether the person will perform or not the behavior. Okay. We have three components to indicate the adjacent theory planned behavior, which is attitude, subjective non-belief, and perceived behavior control. The more favorable of these three components will strengthen the intention to perform the behavior. Okay. The attitude? The attitude, we must be specific, since this specificity will allow the predictions in the resulting behavior. Next, what is subjective norm? Okay, subjective norm, the influence from the outside, which is judgment from the families, siblings, and friends. Next, perceived behavior control, which is the person or we can control our behavior in order to create the intention. Okay. This tree will create an intention, which is the readiness or ability to perform a given behavior. And lastly, when we have ready to perform the behavior, and we will perform the behavior. Okay. Next question. Question 2B. Okay. Question 2B. Give 5 common perceptual errors. The 5 that we identify is halo effect occurs, primary effects, recency effects, fast consensus effects, and leniency. Halo effect occur when one person makes impression of other person based on one prominent role or characteristic, which will cause the perception of the other characteristic of the others. Next, primary effects. Okay. Primary effects is we create an opinion based on first information that we get about the others. For example, if we get only negative information, so the others information, we tend to stay with that negative information. Next, recency effect. Okay. Quite similar with primary effect, but recency effect we more prioritize towards the newest and recent information, which is that will be dominates the perceptual. For example, when a manager want to measure the performance of his or her employee, he will measure based on the current performance, although the last month performance is under par. Okay. Next, false consensus effect. Okay. There are 4 conditions or circumstances under this effect, which is we are comfort to only socialize with this person that has similar belief with us. Okay. Second, we intend to interact more with the people that have similar belief with us. That will form a racist. Okay. Third, we are likely to remember only the information that have similar belief with us. And lastly, we also tend to think that everyone around us has similar belief with us also. Okay. And lastly, we go to leniency. Okay. Leniency is when we get too much positive, or I can say appraise, too much positive appraisal. Okay. I will give example when a manager during an interview what praise and praise and praise and praise, and this will produce workers that think they are nothing they would like to improve, such the manager only praise and not condemn them.
So we proceed to question 3, which is room expectancy theory. Okay, there is three sub in here, which is the effort, second is performance, and the third is outcome. Okay, there's 3 expectancy, which is first E to P, which is effort to performance, and next P to O, performance to outcome, and then outcome balance. Okay, so I shall describe to you, explain to you the 3 sub. first sub is E to P expectancy, which is effort to performance. Okay, how to increase the E to P expectancy? E to P expectancy can be influenced by the individual's belief that he or her effort will result in particular performance and can successfully complete the task. It means it all depends on that person. If that person feel that he can't do the task, it means he can't. Next, P to O expectancy is performance to outcome. Okay, how to increase? P to O expectancy can be influenced by perceived probability that a specific behavior or performance will lead to specific outcome. It means when you perform something, then it can lead to outcome. Next, the last one, outcome and variance. Outcome and variance occur when someone has performed the efforts and also the performance. Therefore, variance refers to anticipated satisfaction or dissatisfaction that an individual feels toward an outcome. The variance will be positive when the outcome are consistent with a person's value and can satisfy his or her rewards. Alright, so question 4A, 4 reasons why informal group exists. Why we need an informal group? Because first, easier to be identified. Workers can get more identified in small groups because small groups we can tend to know a lot of people. We can tend to know everything about the small group compared to a large group. Okay, because in large group it's very difficult for us to know everyone. Next, provide emotional support. Strong emotional support from members in the informal group will give a better motivation for each individual to perform their job or task. It means the small groups can be such a helpful or mean as the supporter to a person compared to a large group, because in large group we will be unknown. Okay. The third point is to build up a social network in the organizations. Employees that have a strong informal network tend to have more power and influence in the organization. It means that a persons who are in a small group, they can easily to lead compared to a large group. For example, you want to lead your classroom more easier than you want to lead the whole student or faculty of accountancy, right? Proceed to the fourth point. Generation of new ideas. The contribution of new ideas, more members contribute to new ideas. It will generate creative ideas and it will improve the productivity and creativity of the organizations. What it means is that when you are in a small group, you are easy to discuss, easy to brainstorm. So that's why workers are more preferred to be in a small group like compared to the large group. Okay. Just now I explained about question 4A. Now proceed to question 4B. It's a 4 general type of work team. First, we have departmental team. Consists of employees that are similar or complementary skill and are located in the same unit or functioning structure. For example, look at production department. In production department, all the workers have the same backgrounds and they also have experience in working in production department. Okay. So the second one is task force project team. It means multi-skilled temporary teams whose assignment is to solve a problem, relies on opportunity or design a product or service. For example, a company plan to build a new product, so he made a new teams which is special task team to plan for the new product. Okay. Next, the third one, advisory team. Teams that provide recommendations to decision makers, committees, advisories, council, work councils, and review panels may be temporary but often permanent, some with frequent rotation of members. For example, I can give you is the council of ministry. Okay, the council of ministry, they are not permanent, they might be rotate, and their function of job is to advise the ministry. The last one is virtual team. Virtual team is teams whose members operate across space, time, and organizational boundaries and are linked through information technologies. Okay, this can be shown by, for example, me and my friends. We are both a team, but I am in Malaysia and he is in Singapore. So although we only communicate through technologies.
For the question 5 is, explain 5 techniques used in alternative dispute resolution, ADR. So, for the first point is arbitration. Arbitration involves a third-party neutral who listen to the parties argue the merits of their dispute. For the second point is mediation. Mediation is the intervention in a dispute or negotiations of an acceptable, impartial and neutral third party who has no decision-making authorities. For the third point is negotiations. Negotiations occurs whenever two or more conflicting parties attempt to resolve their divergent goal. For the fourth point is peer review. Peer review involves problem-solving process where an employee takes a dispute to a group or panel or fellow employees and managers for a decision. For the fifth point is fact-finding. Fact-finding is to investigate or evaluate the matters presented and file a report establishing the fact in the matter. For the question 5B, explain 4 desired conflict outcomes. So, the answer is, for the first point, is earlier problem identification. This means, thoughtful manager can watch for pattern in the workplace and engage early with the involved staff before the workplace is disrupted by a full-fledged conflict. For the second conflict is better problem solving. Better problem solving is the best idea and solution flows from healthy discussion involving a diversity of perspective, but this goal can be difficult to attain. For the healthy relationship, morals and commitment conflict, it means if staff feels comfortable differing view, concern or complain and they see that these are heard and respected by their peers and management, then their relationship with each other and with the organization can be strengthened. The fourth point is improve productivity, which is conflict that is handled well will free up people to focus on their jobs rather than tension in the office, which will lead to higher productivity, efficiency and effectiveness. For question 6A, explain 4 difference between leaders and managers. Okay. For the leaders, they innovate. It means they remain curious and seek to remain relevant in the ever-changing world of work. While for the managers, they act as administrators. It means often double down on what made them successful, perfecting existing skills and adapting proven behavior. For the second point, the leaders is to develop. The person is to develop, which means they embrace change and know that even if things are working, there could be a better way forward. While for the managers, they act to maintain. Okay, what is it is mean by maintain? Managers stick with what works, refining system, structure and process to make them better. For the third point, leaders tend to inspire other people. It means leaders are willing to try new things even if they may fail miserably. For the managers, they tend to control. What is meant by control? Managers work to minimize risk, They seek to avoid or control problems rather than embracing them. For the fourth point, for the leaders, they have see the long-term view. Leaders have internationality. They do what they say they're going to do and stay motivated towards a big, often very distant goal. They remain motivated without receiving regular rewards. While for the managers, they see in a short-term view, which means manager works on short-term goal, seeking more regular acknowledgement or accolades.
Okay, so let's move on to question 6B. Explain the key positive leadership traits with appropriate examples. Okay, so for the first one is confidence. Okay, when challenged, they don't give up too easily. When proven wrong, they take responsibility and quickly act to improve the situation within their authority. Okay, second one, charismatic and optimism. Okay, they always seem to have a solution and always know what to say to inspire and to reassure. They avoid personal criticism and pessimistic thinking. Okay, the third one is inspirational. They challenge their employee by setting high but attainable standard and expectation. Then giving them the support to pursue those goals and become the best employee they can possibly be. Okay, they guide their employees instead of do not care about them. Okay, so for the fourth one is focus and intellectual stimulated. Okay, they think through multiple scenarios and the possible impacts of their decision and considering viable alternative target towards success. Okay, they even have contingency plans in the event that requires last-minute changes. Okay, for the fifth one is decisiveness and visionary. Okay, they know when not to act unilaterally but instead foster collaborative decision making. Okay, he can come out with a good decision to make business growing. Okay, so for the last one is environmental sensitive. Okay, leaders guide their employee through challenge and always look out for the best solution to foster the long-term success of the organization. Okay, if their employee in a sad mood, okay, leader know how to handle the communicate with their employee. Okay, so let's move on to question number 7. Okay, we start with the 7A. Explain 5 stress reduction technique. Okay, so the first one is by remove the stressor. Okay, so by doing a stress audit through investigating the source of stress and after realizing the source of stress, therefore the managers are responsible to take the corrective action. Okay, so for the second one is by facilitating better work-life balance. Okay, what is meant by facilitating better work-life balance? Okay, by facilitating better work-life balance, it will minimize conflict between the employee's work and non-work demand. Okay, so for the third one, withdraw from the stressor. Okay, so if by removing the stressor may not be the best solution, Okay, the employer may make use of the other alternative strategy either to permanently or temporarily remove employees from the stressor. Okay, so for the fourth one is change the stress perception. Okay, how to change the stress perception is by helping employees improve their self-concept so that job challenge are not perceived as threatening. Okay, employee itself to update their personal goal setting and increase their self-reinforcement. Alright, so for the fifth one is by receive social support. Okay, social support occurs when someone provide emotional or informational support to buffer an individual's stress experience. Okay, so let's move on to question number 7B. Okay, there is a 3 stage of general adaptation syndrome. Okay, the first stage is alarm reaction. Okay, this stage occurs when a threat or challenge activates the psychological stress response that were noted above. Okay, the individual's energy level and coping effectiveness decrease in response to the initial shock. Okay, second stage, resistance. This stage activates various biochemical, psychological and behavioral mechanisms to overcome or remove the source of stress. Okay, to focus the energy on the source of the stress, okay, the body reduces resources to the immune system during this stage. Okay, so for the last stage is exhaustion. Okay, since people have a limited resistance capacity and if the source of stress persists, the individual will eventually move into this stage. Okay, most of us are able to remove the source of stress or remove ourselves from that source before becoming too exhausted.
That's all for today. Thank you.